15 years and I still can't figure out how to wear this hat. It seems like yesterday was my convocation. I would have brought the hat today, but I think I would have had a little bit of security problem. You see, my little sister made my hat, my sorority little sister, and she took upon giving me the nickname Queenie Colleen. Now, I would like to think it was because I was fair and just, and I think that she gave it to me because she thought I was too bossy. So attached to my convocation hat was a toilet seat, so I could always have my throne with me. So I couldn't exactly check it into security, so I decided just to tell you all about it instead of lugging it along. But when I thought about what I was going to talk about today, something perfect happened. My children came to me and asked me a very important question that I'm guessing that most of you asked at one point or another. Is Santa Claus real? Now, I thought about this for a moment, and being the 21st century parent that I am, who has read all of the books on parenting, who watches the foremost parenting TV show Super Nanny, I decided to do what any other parent would do. I lied. I lied big time. But I have like a little asterisk next to it. What I told them was, you have to believe to receive. So, when their friends came to them and said, Santa Claus isn't real, my kids now say to them, well, if you don't believe, you don't receive. And it's kind of true. And it's true for a lot of things. Now, if my kids graduate from college with their letters to Santa in hand, I will have a very long talk with them. But for now, it's one of my guiding principles. So what I thought I'd do today is share just some of my guiding principles from the last 15 years. They're not rules. I will get back to you later on why I don't make rules. I make guiding principles. So the first one, as you enter your senior year, is that what you think you're supposed to do next year may not be what you're meant to do. At least not yet. When I graduated from Longwood, I graduated with a degree in elementary education. I was convinced I was meant to be a teacher. I got a job teaching kindergarten. This was my bliss. This was where I was meant to be. I hated it. The kids were crying. I didn't know how to make them stop. I was so confused. I had to drive an hour and a half to school. I was miserable. Now, fast forward, 6 years later, I end up in a New York City public school, which to some teachers sounds like horror, teaching 6th grade English, and I loved it. It was exactly where I was supposed to be. But at 22 years old, I knew enough to know this is not my path right now. And that was okay. So the first thing I would tell you is that when you graduate, don't think that what you decide that day is what you're meant to do for the rest of your life. You can grow up and decide to be something else when you're 22, 42, 62, or like my grandfather who just learned how to use the internet, 92. It can happen to the best of us. The second thing I kind of went with is be bold and crazy. So I decided that I wasn't meant to teach kindergarten. What did I do? I moved to New York City. Not the smartest leap, but I did have a little bit of a safety net. My parents had just moved there. They had grown up there, but I'd never lived there. So I knew them, and I thought I'd figure it out. The internet had just started. It was this crazy thing where you emailed or you did AOL. And you would email someone, and then you check your email 2 weeks later, and you would discover everything you had typed to each other didn't make any sense because you had already talked 5 times in between. So I went to New York City, I went to a temp agency, and they said, do you know how to type? And I said, of course I do. I took the typing test. I think I typed 3 words per minute. I went home a little discouraged, and then I thought, I'm going to call 10 temp agencies. I'm going to make 10 appointments. By the 5th one, I had figured out it was the same typing test at every place. I was a typing genius by the 8th place. They placed me at an internet company. I started as a receptionist. After 2 months, they said, would you like to do something else? And I thought, I'll figure it out. I became an admin assistant, and then I ended up becoming a media buyer, and then I went back to teaching. All of it was exactly what I was supposed to do at that time. But I had to make a big, bold step that made me feel just a little uncomfortable. Now, I'm not telling you to move to New York City. 1, your parents will kill me. 2, it may not be your path, but it just might be. What is your bold step? Is it moving to a city you've never lived? Is it going on a road trip with your friends? Is it visiting another country? What is that bold step? Because now is the time to think about it. Now is the time to take it. What do you have to lose? Now, there are lots of steps you can take in life, but it's the relationships that you make that make these steps all the worthwhile. So my third step might seem a little hokey, but I'll explain why. My third guiding principle is to always tell people how you feel when you love them. Now, my friends at first rolled my eyes when I was telling them this, but I'll explain it to you. So I had just gone back into teaching, and it was my third day of school, and I was running out the door late. I'm always late. Do not tell the Board of Visitors that. I play it off. But I was running late. I was leaving early in the morning to go to school, and my husband was calling, "You forgot your cell phone, give me a kiss goodbye." And I was like, "I've got to go." I ran out the door. 2 hours later, the Twin Towers were hit. I didn't speak to my husband until 3:30. All I knew was that he was supposed to be across the street looking at real estate. My kids in school had no idea where their parents were. My colleagues had no idea where husbands, family members were. And all I can remember, my last words to my husband was, "I have got to go. I do not have time for you right now." I never want to live with that regret. So even in the middle of the biggest fight that I may have with my husband, I will say, "I love you so much, but I cannot talk to you right now. But no, I love you. I love you so much." And I say the same things to my kids. But life escapes you. It goes by. Phone calls don't get returned. You play phone tag. The one person I played phone tag with, class of 1997 graduate, Joseph Anchandia, died on 9/11. You never know. Dr. Stewart, you never know what's going to happen. Don't live that life with that little regret that will just take a moment of your time. Now, there are many other little guiding principles that I can share with you that don't necessarily have a story with them. So I'll share them with you. The first one I would say to new graduates is, don't believe people's status updates and photos on Facebook. That may not be their real life. The second would be, don't put anything on Facebook you don't want your boss or your grandma to see. I have heard many a boss say to me, "I just did a Google search and this crazy photo came up." Photos on the internet last forever. The other thing I would share with you in that kind of same vein is Abraham Lincoln is a very smart man. But for one reason you may not know about, Abraham Lincoln, when he would get frustrated, he would write a note to whomever he was fighting with. He would get all of the emotion out, he would fold up the letter, and he would put it in his desk. Now, I don't expect that any of you are going to be writing angry letters, but we do write emails, but that's what a draft folder is for. Put it in your draft folder, give it a day, and I guarantee when you look at it the next day, you will revisit it. And then you will send it out with confidence that your true idea has spoken, not your anger, not your impulse. Because there is this magical thing called forwarding, and that's what people like to do. They take your email that is in anger, but with justification, and they forward it to anyone they want. So next time you have to write a letter and you think that there might be a little bit too much passion behind it, do what Abe did. You will never go wrong. The next thing is, when you graduate, get a newspaper subscription. Now, I will tell you, I read Us Weekly like they are putting down the winning lottery numbers. I need to know what's going on with Kanye and Kim. I need to understand what's going on with Snooki. But I do also understand that there is a moment where I need to read what's going on in this world. Even with 3 kids, 2 1.5-year-olds and a newborn and a job teaching, I would just look at the headlines, just get a glimpse of it. Sometimes that's all you can do, and that's okay. Be informed so you can make informed decisions. Which brings me to the next idea, vote. Every time. This year is a magical year for you Virginians. The state can turn red or blue, and you can be a part of that. And when you do decide to vote, whenever you have kids, bring them with you. They will think it is the coolest thing to pull that lever. I still think it's the coolest thing to pull the lever. But when you look up on election night, know that you had a part of that. You were a part of that number. It's easy, it takes a few minutes, but you will always be a part of history, because no matter how a presidential election goes, or any election goes, you're always part of history. Now, this is my best advice, really quickly. Ladies, when you ask a guy what's the matter and he says nothing, he means it. Gentlemen, when you ask a lady what's wrong and she says nothing, you're already in trouble. You're already done. So, when you enter relationships, don't expect my husband's famous words, "I'm not a mind reader." Tell them what you want. Tell them what you need. Men or women, it always pays off. Now, I do have a few other things, but tattoos. Let's talk about tattoos for a moment. If you already have one, no judgments. If you have not gotten one, these are my small pieces of advice. Don't ever get anything in an Asian language, because there are many incidences of it does not mean what you think it means. A friend of mine has the word zucchini on her back. If you can cover it up for your boss, again, your grandma, always a good thing. And really, really love what you get. Because I will tell you, my freshman year at Longwood, I got a dolphin on my ankle. I will have a dolphin on my ankle for the rest of my life. Because I'm scared of the lasers. I can't get it off. It's very true. I admit my faults. Just 3 more, I promise. Why guiding principles are good, rules are not so good. When you make rules, you can end up on national television in a spandex unitard, and I'll tell you why. A couple years ago, I will not tell you what year, and I will not tell you what national television show, because that will make your Google search easier. I decided that I wasn't taking enough risks. I needed to do things that were more exciting. So I told my best friend, Kathleen, who also graduated from Longwood, who thinks this is one of the greatest stories ever. This was going to be my year of yes. I was going to say no. I was going to say yes to every opportunity. Someone asked me to do something. Yes. We need to go on this trip. Yes. You want to do this? Yes, yes, yes. 24 hours later, I was at the gym. And I got off the treadmill from doing what I would describe as a really light jog. But it was not an attractive look, because what happened next was I'm walking away, I feel a tap on my shoulder, I turn around, there is a TV camera in my face with a perky woman and with a microphone who says, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm from blah, 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 and we're doing a story on makeovers and what not to wear at the gym." I had about 5 seconds of thinking, well, I'm clearly the do. I was not. And then I stopped for a moment and I thought, I'm going to say no because they can't put me on camera if I say no. And then I remembered it was my year of yes. So yes, and 30 minutes later, I'm at a store with this woman. She explains to me, for these makeover shows, just be warned, we put 3 really unattractive outfits on you so that the 4th one you look really good. Thus, the spandex unitard that I was put into and taped for national television. The only moment that I had was that I thought, no one will be watching this on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I'm just going to tell my best friends, we'll have a good laugh, and that will be the end of it. One big thing happened, called a snowstorm, in Virginia. So here I am up in New York City on this national television show, and I'm like, no one's going to watch this, no one's going to watch this, no one's going to watch this. I get home, my Facebook page has exploded. everyone and their brother starts typing. I was watching the blah, blah, blah show. See, I'm still not telling you. I was watching the blah, blah, blah show, and I said to my husband, that looks just like Colleen. And then they said your name. Then someone else posted, oh, I didn't see that. Could you give me the link? And on it went. Rules are not good. Guiding principles. You will always win. My second to last guiding principle. Get a mentor. Before you leave this campus, make sure that there is someone on this campus, staff, faculty, administration, who you feel a personal connection with. Someone in the coming years you can call, you can go to their office, you can see them, where you will feel at home and you will know that they have your best interests and they are a sounding board. That is the greatest gift I had from Longwood. I stop on campus, I see Dr. Pearson, who was a dean of students when I was here. I stop by, I see Joyce Trent, who was my Kappa Delta sorority advisor. See, you knew you liked me. But it's so important. And with every job that you go to, find your mentor. Who is the person who's going to guide you and help you find your way? Give you the advice that your coworkers may not be able to give you. You find a mentor, you will find your path. And then lastly, make your own guiding principles. Don't follow mine. What is your path? What are going to be the ideas that help you rule your life? So, to quote one of my favorite literary characters, well, to paraphrase him a little bit, Albus Dumbledore from Harry Potter. I love them. Help will always be given at Longwood for those who ask for it. Congratulations and good luck.